Shalom. Welcome to The Real Spill 101, a podcast where the issues of life are discussed, from entrepreneurship and business to the trenches. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification button too so you can know when we're kicking it. Today we are talking about role models, so sit back, chill, grab your cup, and catch the spill. Today's episode is brought to you by Pest King. Let the best battle your pest. And also,
Strong Tower Occult Care. Feminine products at their best. I believe in putting my money where my mouth is. I wouldn't trade it. Look them up online. Strong Tower Occult Care.
yeah. Shalom, shalom. My name is Isaiah B. I am the Real Spill commentator.
Yeah, shalom, and I'm the wisdom commentator, Kerry B.
Shalom, KB. Free indeed, and I will not allow any more chains to bind me.
So who do you have with you today?
And I have a very, very special guest that I would like to introduce to you all. I have Stephanie Mitchell, media. Can you just say hello to our crowd today?
Thank you.
All right, Stephanie. I've actually given your name, so we're gonna roll right through it. Awesome. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I moved here in 2018. I moved to Alabama. I'm originally from the Pacific Northwest, from Washington State. That's where I grew up.
Awesome.
So yeah, I moved here. I met my husband online. And so I
Hey.
moved across the country,
Wow.
and that turned out really well for me. And I started my own business, and I kept working for a nonprofit, long distance. I still do some work for them. So yeah, I do graphic design. I love helping people. I love when people help me. So.
Awesome. Okay, Stephanie, so I heard a few things I would love for you to elaborate on.
Sure.
So it seems like you've had some special things happening in your life really recently. And I heard you say you met your current husband as of when? Where?
I met him online in January 2018.
Awesome. So, wedding bells?
Yep, we got married in December 2018. He's sitting right over there, so I'm looking at him.
Awesome. It's a pleasure to have you in the house today
What's up,
on The
Rex?
Real Spill. Thank you, Rex.
Welcome, Rex.
Yes.
Rex over here, y'all with the fresh blue tie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like how it looks.
Very dapper, very
What
dapper.
color blue is that?
Very, very.
What color blue is that? Light. He said light
Maybe
blue. It can't
cobalt
no light
or
blue.
I don't know.
I
Cobalt?
think we're very
Cobalt.
close to cobalt.
Cobalt.
Very
Okay.
nice.
So-
Very
Color
nice
palette.
choice.
Nice. Well, you look good.
Yes.
Yes, he does.
In fact, if you all could see Rex, they're extremely color coordinated. I think it's a fashion statement that says, I'm his and he's mine. So I see that put a smile on your face when you talked about Rex, your husband. So I'm assuming that he's extremely supportive.
He is so supportive. He believes in me more than I believe in myself. He has always told me that I can do anything that I set my mind to. And he came today. I had a presentation and he was there because I was nervous, but just having him there, I was like, okay, I'm safe.
Right.
Awesome. There's nothing like true comfort. And I say, I feel you. He's got his real thing here today. You got your real thing here today.
Yeah.
So we got the support like none other, which leads me to another thought. Who is your role model?
I would say I really admire my mom.
Awesome.
Yep. She, so my dad passed away when I was 3 years old, so she raised me for a little bit by herself, got remarried when I was 5. But she is pretty much the strongest person that I know.
Nothing like woman power.
Yeah, she really, you know,
awesome.
she has a marketing degree, but she raised all of us at home. She homeschooled all of us. But yeah, she really, she taught me bookkeeping, accounting skills. She does a lot.
Wonderful. So she's really had a great impact on your life. Probably help you decide where you wanted to actually start or have a career. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, she did. She definitely showed me how to do kind of paperwork side of things. I watched my stepdad start his own farm equipment mechanic business when I was about 6 or 7 years old. So just watching him launch all that out, design his business cards, get magnets on his car, and just see that he also showed me so much.
That's good.
That is excellent, right? There's nothing like a true role model. We'll
Right.
get to that a little bit later.
Right.
So that's awesome to hear how your family has influenced your decision making and pretty much have made you to the lovely lady you are. I absolutely enjoy you. And to say not the least but the most, Stephanie, I, and Carrie, we're part of a BNI group that we absolutely do enjoy one another. And when I look at Stephanie and she smiles, I'm like, yeah, she takes the nervousness away. So it's been really awesome being able to interview you, but I have a few more questions for you. Could you tell me a little bit about your business?
Yeah, so I started graphic design in 2017 when I started working for a nonprofit because they needed someone. That's what got me started. And then when I moved here, they wanted me to keep working for them. So they said, if you start your own business, then we will be your client. So in 2019, I started my own business just for that reason. They were my only client at the time. So that's really how I got started on that.
Awesome.
And just, I really branched out, joined BNI in December of 2021. So really recent. I met the two of you, met Isaiah, and, it's been really good to meet more people in the local community. They're very talented.
Awesome. I mean, that's really a blessing, more than you probably thought would come from it, right?
Yeah, so many.
So many. So I had an opportunity to just look over your website, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
So would you tell us just in detail exactly what a client can look for if they use your service?
So they can look for good communication, and good communication in the way that is best for them. I don't lock them into, you have to email or you have to text. If they want a message on Snapchat, I'll be there.
Cool, accessible, readily accessible. Awesome. So I think, do you establish logos, help with branding?
I do.
Okay.
I design logos, branding, colors, fonts, make sure everything is consistent on all online presences. That's vital.
It is extremely vital. Okay. I'm going to let my panel chime in. Do you all have any questions for Stephanie or want to elaborate, go back to anything?
Yes. So Miss Mitchell. So I heard you say earlier about your mom being your role model, and so you've all your life you had someone to kind of show you how to, being a good example of an entrepreneur. Your mom, teaching you about accounting and financial literacy, and also and your father, you seen him strive and persevere to do, his start his own business and successful. I'm assuming because you wouldn't be where you are today if you had seen him persevere. So how do you take that from what you've learned now, from them being the role models? So how do you incorporate that into your life to give? Do you give back to the communities? Do you try to help other people to learn as well so they can kind of have that same mindset?
They really instilled in me that the most important thing really is the other person.
Right.
And just putting other people first. And that's a very rewarding thing to do, I discovered.
I agree.
It's
Right,
very
very
rewarding to
rewarding.
help others they were always helping. I always saw them helping someone. They were always there making a meal if somebody passed away or, for their family, volunteering at our church a lot. My mom was the choir director for many years.
Oh, way cool.
And so these were all unpaid positions that they just gave of themselves in a lot of ways.
Okay. And you learned that. And you say you help. You said people. That means anybody.
Anybody.
Yeah, people like me as well, right?
Absolutely.
And people like Bruce Lee, or
Yeah.
people like, Vladimir Putin.
I mean, everybody is we were really taught that everybody has dignity and they deserve respect.
Totally agree. Agreed. So I heard you bring up the choir, and because I'm really interested, I do tend to want to know more about people, especially if they're warming and friendly and approachable. So, do you sing? Did you participate in the choir?
I did for a long time. I got involved as a teenager. Somebody at church heard me singing and they said, "Do you want to join?" I said, "Sure." So
Like, really cool.
I was in my church choir for 8 years, and then I was in a couple of community theater musicals, and I did a lot of singing for that. It was a lot, and I learned a lot with, I had some voice instruction.
Oh, wow.
And I don't sing in that capacity anymore, but when I do go to church, I do sing. I do sing with the songs, so.
Cool to know. I like to sing from time to time, but honestly, I do love to worship my Father. I think I have found joy in that. Tough day, a melody comes to thought, and you're like, okay, it soothes my spirit. So that is so totally interesting. I didn't know, but it's good to know that you are a songbird. So,
What
Truth
musicals
commentate.
did you do?
yes.
I'm sorry?
What musicals did you
I
participate
thought you
in?
would ask.
Yeah, so the first one was The Marvelous Wonderettes, and the second we did the sequel, The Winter Wonderettes. So it was Act 1 would be music from the 60s, and Act 2 would be music from the 70s. And it was about 26 songs per musical that we were,
Wow.
there was just very little dialogue. It was mostly singing, one song after the other. The plot really carried it through. So yeah, there were only 4 people in the cast. I was one of 4 women. So it was kind of like a barbershop quartet, but us women. So it was really interesting.
That's nice.
Right.
And I'm sure the truth commentator has much to say or thoughts on that, because we've seen him put in tireless amount of hours just to perform his part. 26 songs.
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
lot of
it was.
songs.
Wow. So,
That's a
girl,
lot of songs.
I think she holding out on us. She's good. She's Stephanie Mitchell Media, but I believe Stephanie Mitchell got a song or two, a hum or two she could do for us one day.
One day.
One
Get her
day.
back.
Yeah.
One
Put
day.
it on the spot.
One day. I won't get you today. I won't do
Huh?
it.
Who?
So, with that being said, truth
Yeah.
commentator.
It's time to move with us to the Bet You Didn't Know corner. Let's learn about some new fun facts that none of us knew before today.
Hey.
New fun facts and other words
Yeah.
before the day.
And we can start off with Miss Stephanie Mitchell, our guest.
All right, then.
All right,
Alright,
what you
thank
got
you.
for us?
Yeah, so a fun fact I learned recently, but it doesn't surprise me at all. 94% of first impressions are design related. So
Oh,
that puts a lot of responsibility on me to say what is the first thing that people are seeing. It needs to be inspiring and good and beautiful. So
yeah.
No, I didn't
Very
know that.
important.
So, wow.
It's very
Okay, I've
true. When you
learned.
see a logo, the first thing or when you see a company, the first thing that you see is their branding. What are they wearing? How do they look? That's true. I did not know that. 94%, you said?
Wow. So it makes me think about typically I preference shapes. I love more rounder objects. Typically anything that I do, you'll see some type of circumference, maybe more round.
The logo
not
on the screen.
necessarily square, but I think it speaks about my personality.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, I try to make sure that I'm smiling. Typically a smiling face turns around. It's easier to smile than it is to frown.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
learned
So-
something new. Cool.
Learn something new that you.
Uh-oh.
I bet y'all didn't know that earwax is actually a type of sweat.
Say what? Whoa.
Earwax is a type of sweat,
Wait a
and it
minute.
also helps with your hearing. It's not damaging. you need earwax in your ears.
So that's genius. Ooh. So the inside of your head sweat too on the outside.
It has to relieve some type of it has to have a way to relieve the heat. You got tears, you got earwax, you got snot.
So the more healthy
hey.
you are, the more you got more earwax in you.
No, you
Well, I don't know, because big folks they sweat easy too.
I'm about to say I don't know. I don't base that off health because it is a sweat.
That's genius though. That's just the mind of the Most High right there.
It is, and he gives humanity the privilege and the honor to acquire education to study it. Because who would have thought?
Right.
Yes.
I did not know
man.
that. That's a great
I
fact that
bet you didn't.
remember.
I bet you. What my man say on Sanford Sun? Good goobly woo. So I got one, y'all.
Pretty good.
So there's a reason why our grandmothers or our grandparents played bid whiz. So African Americans brought the Turkish game with them during the Middle Passage. And slave owners tried to stamp out many of the games, songs, and instruments slaves brought with them from Africa. But they allowed slaves to keep playing the card game because they thought counting skills would help the slaves count the cotton bales they produced. The Turkish game grew with the African American population and evolved into the modern game of biz whiz, spades, and bridge. And I bet you didn't know that right there. So I bet you did. Bah! That's what Uncle Joe did when you come over there. Bah! Bring your little friend from college. Hey, Dad, this is Bill. Bill, can you play cards, son? Bah!
I'll be like, no, sir. I don't.
Slap you across the head.
What's your fun fact?
All right, so today's fun fact, and I bet you didn't know that the brain's information travels up to an impressive 268 miles per hour. Elaborate.
Yeah, I believe
When
that.
the neuron is stimulated, it generates an electrical pulse that travels from cell to cell. A disruption in the regular processing can be caused by, what is it? What is it?
You
the one giving us the fact.
That's it.
Oh, that's cool. Huh?
That's it.
Oh, man, you know what? Girl, my bad.
It says, well, now the information should be traveling that fast, right? Y'all was supposed to get it.
We not, ooh, that's fine. But I hope that y'all heard these fun facts on the Bet You Didn't Know corner. Travel with us back to the hot seat for today's topic, because it's about that time of the day again to get into the discussion.
Of the real.
And the topic on the hot seat today is role models. As we heard earlier, Miss Stephanie said that her mom was one of her biggest role models in her life. So we see that it is important to have role models in your life, and whether we like it or not, we're role models. And it's very important to know that, because if you don't know it, you can cause detriments to other people's lives unknowingly. And those are detriments that, are not necessary. So that's what we'll be talking about today. About
me first?
Yeah. Do it on you first.
Hand it off.
How you think? So now, so we deal with the issue of role models today. So role models can come in two forms: credible and not so credible, right? So that's how our world is shaped. So we're gonna deal with role models from a whole different perspective, because I think that we look at role models. I've been just doing my assessment, and I think that we look at role models from a point of view of movie stars.
Okay.
So the moment you say role model, we'll say somebody like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or we'll say LeBron James, or Tom Brady. He's the GOAT, ain't he? Tom Brady is the GOAT. You got to give it to him. Anyway, role models. But he is. Ain't he the most winners quarterback in NFL history? So that's just pause break. Shout out to him. If
I don't watch NFL.
share this podcast, let him hear his name. Maybe he'll love us. I don't know. But anyway,
role models.
but we don't know that also that maybe an abusive dad can be a role model, or a mother not being able to control her emotions as well could be a role model. So today we want to discuss role models from a realistic point of view, because LeBron James, and Clint Eastwood and Kevin Hart, we probably never, many of us will probably never meet them, but we will see our next door neighbor, the man that cut his grass. We will see
Very true.
the lady at the grocery store. We will see people, in our community, and so we're going to take it from that point of view. So shoot back over here to the teacher, the one who gives us the understanding concerning, these situations. He gonna boom, throw it at us. Go ahead and give it to us.
All right. So first, I want to let y'all know what a role model means. I brought the dictionary definition with me. So a role model is a person looked to by others as an example to be imitated. And so, as was just said, we have role models out there that could be positive, but we also have some that could be negative. And oftentimes we have a lot of negative role models in the community. And one thing that we, as a society, don't look at is what we're doing as role models. But one good thing that I will say that is being done, that these children do have the opportunity to go to schools and see teachers who can be role models and see coaches who can be those positive role models in their lives instead of those negative role models that they may see at home. Because when you have those good role models to look at, you'll know what to do. You'll have a good plan from a young age. You'll know how to do booking. You know how to have financial literacy and things like that. But when you don't have those good role models at a young age, things in life can get tough and you don't know how to face them.
Right.
Because you were never showed properly. I have heard a quote before, I believe it's a proverb: train up a child in the way that they should go. When they old, they won't depart from it. Right. Because when you show that child the way to do it, not necessarily talking to that child, but showing them with your actions, showing them how to love, showing them to control their anger, showing them how to channel it the right way through, hey, throwing ice at a wall or a spelling bee or a debate, they're able to control those emotions when they're older. That when that role model is gone, they are modeled right, and that they can be a good role model for younger people to look at. And so we have to learn how to be better role models. So that's just the brevity of the topic today. So I just want to get y'all's perspective of a role model. You answered the question earlier, who is a good role model in your life? So I want to open that topic. Do you know that you're a role model? And if you do know that you're a role model, how do you keep that in mind? That question is for everybody, by the way. It's an open floor question. I don't want to just throw it to Stephanie, but of course, we are going to start with you, though.
Oh, okay, sure. So I don't think about the fact that I am a role model very often. I think joining BNI, it's definitely been more top of mind that I need to have integrity at all times in everything that I do, honesty, show a good model. If I am not being the change that I want to see, then what am I doing? What is the point? If I want to just criticize other people, well, let me look at myself, because if I want to complain about things, I need to look at myself first.
That's good.
And so, the role model thing, thanks for bringing up that topic today, because I want to be, since I don't really have a choice, I'm going to be a role model whether I'm aware of it or not. It's
Very
good
true.
to be reminded of that, so thank you.
Very true. Very true. Very true. All right. So I guess KB, free, and D will comment. My thoughts were just along the line of what Stephanie said, especially having the understanding that whether you think you're a role model or not, you are. And if you break the word down, roles, all of us at some point in time have been a child, right? Because we're here, we were born, we were birthed. Yeah, I didn't birth myself. So that means that we had some type of parent or guardian or someone that helped mold our mindset, our character, how we view life, that imparted into us our social skills, exposed us to different things that make us or break us. So my thoughts are, and I pray, Father, how can I be a better role model? Because I have missed it and I have gotten it sometimes. And when I have come to the point that because I have children, it's even more important to me. Because how do I look in my grandchildren? My children are going to show that to them. So I think the scripture that you quoted, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not part from it, is essential. It's foundational. We can have the best, motivational speakers. We can have the best next self-help book. But if we don't realize the impact that we have on each other as an individual, then we move nowhere. We perpetuate who we are, what we know. We perpetuate mindsets. And that role, or that person standing in that role, has modeled to us, and whether our sight is skewed or is healthy and clear, we perpetuate it. So, my question is am I doing my best? Am I fixing, the things that are crooked or the things that should be better, to give my children and my children's children a better opportunity to be true role models? The essence of what character brings.
Right.
Your character is truly what keeps you.
Right. Now, but being a role model, because everybody, we get these good old, we can give good examples, as far as out of our mouth. But the best role model is more so a demonstration. What you do, because people talk good all the time.
I agree.
I know we was reading we was reading something we were saying, about wisdom. I think that many of us don't have the proper understanding of wisdom. I think we associate wisdom with words only, and that's not how it's supposed to be. Because anybody can talk good. Even a pimp makes sense to somebody who's stupid. But it's true. That's how a man make his mama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A man make a woman sell her body. He said something that made sense to her. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, in every environment, sometimes people who got influence make sense to somebody who don't have the same kind of brain capacity. So it's got to be more than just words.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's got to be something that you do to show that you're a role model. You know what I'm saying? And because I want to bring this subject up, because I think everybody needs to become aware to the fact that maybe a lot of us have not been being a good role model. Because look at our society. If we was good role models, we wouldn't even have such things as racism. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be trying to be divided based on the skin complexion. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't get mad and deny people. Let me tell you how bad of a role model sometimes, we can be. When you tell somebody who they are, and they get mad at you for telling them who they are. And they don't believe you. Wow. But then at the same time, if I tell you, if I say, hey, you tell folks, man, I'm a Hebrew, I'm an Israelite. Well, no, you ain't. I don't believe that. I had a man sit at my table and tell me that. I don't believe that. He was of another nation, but here it is. The same man can tell me, by golly, you can be whatever you want to be. Mm-hmm. Which one you think, had the more effect on me? You know what I'm saying? His actions. Because you just told him with a smile on your face. That's why I tell my children all the time, other people, that every smile ain't no friendly face. It ain't based on, what somebody say. It's based on what they do. So,
yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I seen that, man. So a role model is what you do. How you express love. You know what I'm saying? How you perform under pressure. Because if somebody always looking at you, whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? So, because I had a whole lot of role models, growing up. But mine was from a whole other perspective, because my role models taught me, to not have self-control. And they was good role models at teaching me that. Look at, man, they did great jobs, but they was bad role models. So, we want to just bring awareness to the fact that all of us are role models and we all have responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So that's, that's my take on it. See, I know now I'm a role model. You say, well, I have an understanding of what one is. Mm-hmm. So that's why I try to carry myself different now, because people look at you. That's how we do things out of our subconscious. We do things automatically based on things we've learned.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very true.
I want to ask this question. We have seen something in the media. This has even been talked about on this podcast. The whole Will Smith snafu with everything.
Yeah.
Do you think that Will Smith, or excuse me, let me not ask that. Ask it that way. Do you think that those people that Will Smith affected, do you think that they would act out that way when they have a problem with somebody based on what they saw Will Smith do? And I mean people, the young men or the young women, those ways.
You asking me?
Anybody. That's a question for everybody. Everybody.
Who wants to start?
I mean, say the last part again. Do we think he did what now?
Do you think that those people that saw him do what he did will know how to handle a situation or a similar situation rather than doing what he did? Because since we're talking about role models and you mentioned, Tom Brady earlier and celebrities, Will Smith himself has been around since the 1980s. It's 2022. He still carries weight. He's still a pretty famous person. He just won an Oscar for a movie that he did.
Right.
So with him having that much, notoriety, do you think that what he did, of course it affected people, but do you think that people will act out in the same manner that he did, or is it possible that people will use him as an excuse to say, oh, well, Will Smith did it, I can do it too?
I think some will and some won't. You got to remember Korah. Korah went against, Moses and Aaron, but his son wrote Psalms. So I think that some will be affected by it and do what he did, because some will think that's all right, because you got people who've written, even in the media, even on social media. I think he did a great job. It's great for a man to defend his woman in public. Then you got some who, say no, he should have never done this. So yeah, you're gonna have somebody that's gonna act a plum fool, and they're gonna use him as an example.
Yeah,
I think he had a major impact on what he did. I think, I don't think it was real. I think that what he did was for the love of money. I think, like I told y'all, Chris Rock's tickets selling at $15. The show now. He's struggling. They had to try to help him out, hear him talk a little bit on Oscars. Mm-hmm. Hey, if Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, when Will Smith,
it was an incentive.
Man, look here, Chris Rock's ticket still there for $8,000 a ticket now, man.
That's a very
$800 a ticket.
Scenario.
The man ticket look here, when Tony Rock came on stage, man, he sold out. Man, the crowd went on. He slapped me now, MF. Man, they clapped so hard, I thought it was a machine in the background. Yeah, I think it was a ploy. But I think that he did it for a little money, but at the same time, yeah, man.
So I'm gonna let y'all answer that question. Real quick, I want a backup question. You said for the love of money. So I want to ask this: as a role model, do you look at the things from the outer perspective, or do you look at the things from a more introspective way of how people would look at you if you were to do these actions? Because although Will Smith did do it for money, do you think that he counted in the fact that I got all these young men looking at me that may not know how to handle a situation like this?
I think he counted it all into the fact. I think he didn't care.
Okay.
It was it's a story about a man. His name was Eleazar, and he was this is true history, real true story from the Maccabean period. If you should look at Second Maccabees, and he was told to eat he wanted
Seleucid area.
He wanted to be able to eat. They wanted him to eat unclean food. 90-something-year-old man. So so even though he didn't want to eat the unclean food, they said, "Well, look here, we know that you don't eat it, but just act like you eating it.
Okay.
And if you act like you eat it, they'll think you eating it, and then what'll happen is they'll think it's okay to go ahead and eat, even if you don't eat it. Try to make him you save a little face. You can go ahead and try to get some kind of little worth in his mind, to have some kind of peace in his mind, kind of settle his conscience a little bit that he ain't doing wrong. But tell him he's gonna eat right. But you know what I'm saying. But no, it's just a moral code behind the situation. That man had to think above himself and be a true leader and be willing to die through his obedience instead of compromising and lowering his standards and and then looking stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because the Grammys don't mean nothing not being able to come for 10 years. We come in 10 more years, we're still living, and we'll get nothing. You know, I've been sitting in the back seat, we've been able to laugh, but I got some money to play off. But what you did was you probably put somebody's life in jeopardy based on your situation.
Very true.
So sometimes I think for the love of money we do what we do. I don't think that Will Smith is a leader either way it go. I don't think he have understanding. I think that Will Smith gets out the prize, but that's neither here nor there. I think that Will Smith should be an example for all of us to straighten up and look at our own selves and set ourselves apart. You know what I'm saying? And see what we can do to be the better role model based on just take his example as a lesson. You know what I'm saying? Instead of criticizing and learning from it. Like put him on the board over there. Analyze. Yeah, so we can learn something.
What about y'all? How do y'all think that people will now handle certain situations or pressure situations? Do you think that people will use, the incident that was seen at the Oscars as an excuse to lash out because they saw somebody of fame do it? Or do you think that they will, learn how to take the high road, learn from the situation?
I do think that situations like these, there's a lot going on, maybe that we don't see as well. We know that Will Smith has been under a lot of stress. I'm not excusing his behavior at all. I don't approve of it. It's not a healthy way to handle emotions, even if it was done for financial reasons.
Right.
I think there's a lot of emotionally immature people in the world.
Very true.
I'm one of them, and I've been learning and teaching myself skills of how to handle negative emotions in an effective and constructive way. And I will say that Will Smith may be dealing with an emotional overwhelm, and in a moment he made a split-second decision, perhaps lashed out. It's not a good example, and I think that people will see that, and it's not, it will be copied maybe in domestic situations behind closed doors, and that's very unfortunate. And I also have compassion for, we get in this routine. Chris Rock made a joke. We make jokes at other people's expense without realizing it, or it has become socially acceptable to do so. And so coming from his side, well, I make jokes about everybody. Maybe don't make jokes about people losing their hair, different diseases. It's not funny. So that's my opinion. I think it's complex, and I think that learning, I'll say teaching myself how to handle emotions like anger or frustration or sadness that's very overwhelming.
I think it was funny. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think the slap was funny too. The slap was actually smooth. He came down, he hit him with that was so smooth. Think about that.
I think I forgot.
Chris Rock said,
Maybe he practiced.
Will Smith, man. He said that movie Ali came back on him. But it was still funny. My man wife's head did look like G.I. Jane. Little Jada Pinkett, little pea head. But he should have slapped August for standing up in her like that. That entanglement. I'd be more embarrassed for a man that I'm on the table smiling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But she gave him a genius idea because he made Fresh Prince of Bel-Air a drummer. She taught him hurt. but you had a table with a red table with a cup of coffee. I let him do it. And you won't get mad because the man from G.I. Jane. Come on, man.
Well, you did say something that was good. We don't know what Will Smith. He could have been going through some emotional overload.
He should have smoked the blunt.
For sure.
Well, some people don't do that. Acute stress. Some people got that fight or flight, and his mind probably just clicked.
Man, that man had enough time to think.
Whether it's a ploy, or whether he really was just straight up stressed, we all have to choose. You understand what I'm saying? So even Chris Rock, I mean, I don't consider my perspective on it being complex. It's just straight down the middle. You wrong. I think personally that they were both wrong. That there are boundaries in everything we do. Certain exceptions are okay, and others are just not allowed. However, if you look at the sum of the matter, both of them being role models whatever pre-existing issue that Chris Rock has, to be desensitized or detached, to be able to sense emotions of another human being, and that was well known. Also, Will Smith this is like the perfect time. You release King Arthur, the Venus and Serena's, fame, if you will, their legacy. This is how people viewing you. You are a father figure, and to take all of that in a nutshell, it seemed like such a negative smack for. I'm gonna say bait from the adversary. That's just how I live my life. I have a choice, and I can take the bait or not, whether ploy or I'm under pressure. I said it last week, and shout out to E40 because it is a part of his lyrics. Pressure busts pipes, and if our pipes were to bust, plumbing in our home during the winter season, we got problems. If our pipes were to bust during the summer season, and the function and the flow of our water, our toilet, our plumbing, it would be an issue, right?
Right.
So when we don't learn how to alleviate those pipes, have them properly maintained, to choose properly, we make a mess on everything. So I can't imagine the seepage and the sewage from the sewage line, pressure busting pipes, the smell and the stench in the air. If you could get my analogy and where I'm going, we have choices. Yes. So I disagree with them both. There is nothing to justify, to ever quantify behavior on Will Smith's behalf, especially it was selfish, extremely selfish, because you stole a moment from these women of nostalgia, women in their legacy of who you were supposed to be, and you steal it. He stole it. Even though he received an Oscar, he stole from them. So you look at this domino effect of different things because of our decision making. We have to choose. Right. And that's what I was saying today, and Carrie brought it up about our actions. We can talk a great game, but can we follow it? Can we put action behind the words that we speak?
Right.
So
right.
That's my thought.
Right. I like how you look pretty in the dress. You look nice. I like your watch too. You look pretty.
Well, thank you.
And your hair look nice.
So do you.
You look good. I ain't gonna tell you.
As we have just seen this flirt section, let's take a break in the action. All right. So I just wanted to take a break in the action to tell y'all that we are now splitting the Real Spill 101 podcast and the Aha Love Ministry YouTube page into its own separate entities. So from now on, applause. Yeah.
Hey. Getting it right.
That's a good thing. So from now on, we will be coming on live from the Real Spill 101 podcast page. So y'all find the page on YouTube, like those buttons, subscribe, so we can get in the algorithm real well, so they can know us, so that when we go live, y'all will know it's us.
Right. So find us on YouTube. He just said YouTube. Okay. So find us on YouTube. Find us on Facebook.
All right, I want to finish.
Oh, my bad, because man, I told you, man, what we been for the past,
It's a commercial break. Commercial breaks take some time. So we are also on Facebook. We just got a Facebook as well, so like us on Facebook as well. We want to get some exposure on there as well. We're trying to get a good, strong social media presence. Like, share, and do whatever you need to do. Follow us on Instagram as well. So you can see those reels. We can post reels from the episode. We could even do lives from there. So y'all can ask us certain questions, topics, give us topic ideas on Instagram as well. Even DM us to have a conversation if y'all want to come on and just chill with us. Of course, follow us on Instagram, and I believe that's the only social media pages that we have. But in the future, we will be making some more. So, like I said, find the Real Spill 101 podcast on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Quick interjection. And I want to give the Show Observative Award to our special guest today. Because when you put out the new link, she immediately responded, got it, subscribed. Did you not?
Yes.
Hey.
Thank you. See, we need
that,
supporters
look
like
at that.
this.
See, that's what I'm talking
Supporters
about.
like this. So that's what
about.
we want you to do. Awesome. We appreciate you so much.
It's so easy to press a button. Please just do it to help people out.
Help
Let's
us out.
do that.
Yeah, we trying to impact our community. And guess what? The Most High said He take the whip for the wicked. You know what I'm saying? It's later for the righteous. So if you righteous, then that's how He bless you. You got to learn how to look at it from another perspective. People be asking, man, how y'all get like y'all get? Living right? It ain't got nothing to do with nothing else but just having faith.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all they got. It's faith.
Hold on, stop right there. We got it. We still in the commercial break.
I thought. My bad.
Nah, we got to segue out of
Hold
it
on.
first. We doing. There we go. I'm gonna play them in a couple seconds. But yeah, so follow us on our YouTube, and our new social media page. And now back to your regularly scheduled program with the Real Spillers and our guest, Stephanie Mitchell.
Stephanie Mitchell, me over there, doing her thing over there.
Stephanie
over
Mitchell's
there.
media.
Yeah.
So can we go back over here?
Let's travel down to the Bet You Didn't Know corner as well. If you don't have another fun fact, it's all right. It's okay.
I don't have one at the top of my head, so I'll pass it to
Okay.
somebody else.
Okay.
Yep.
I understand.
Oh,
I got one. The only muscle that never tires is the heart.
the heart will never get
Thankful for
tired.
that.
It don't, and I can believe that because you can have a heart attack. It can go under duress because it's beating so fast until it just.
You know
But
what?
even though your arms get tired, your legs get tired, that heart always beats, even though those legs and those arms stop moving.
Wow.
So that has to be a true statement.
Interesting.
And once we said earlier, if you, we said on a couple episodes ago that if you live 70 years, your heart beats 2.5 billion times. So if that muscle never gets tired, y'all better
So that's
get a long life.
so no wonder your heart can think of a text IGDT or IDGT.
I don't get tired. Oh wow!
Double
I was
entendre.
really-
Your heart.
Instagram.
Right.
I was. Me too. I was deciphering it.
Yeah, that's
That
smooth.
one was pretty.
Smooth.
Okay.
So I got
that's
you
good.
got one. I got another.
Give you that one.
I do. Since you all said I didn't, the information didn't get to you all fast enough. Even though the brain's information
It
travels
was
up to
confusing. I can't lie to you.
268 miles per hour. I only stopped. It is interrupted by an epileptic seizure. So I just paused. I thought y'all would be able to get it, but it wasn't. You know. But moving on to I bet you didn't
Hold on, wait a
know
minute.
that.
What you say about a seizure?
It's only stopped by an
Stop by that.
epileptic.
So people
Your
who
heart.
no people who experience this interruption like that
Right.
and that 268 miles per hour informational flow to the brain, people who have seizures like that may have a different statistic. You know, as far as the flow of information to the brain. But the second bet you didn't know that, I totally didn't know this. On an average, your spinal cord stops growing at the age of 4.
What?
So we actually short.
I don't look. I love things that deals with the brain and the way we think. I totally do. And this is where I'm gleaming my information. But that's like amazing, right? It says on an average.
Wait a minute, so
I mean,
4 years old. That's
yeah, like.
Really, I
so
didn't
what
know
happens? So what happens when you get tall? Are you unfold?
Well, you know what? We're gonna
long
bet
is
you
your
didn't
spine?
know that.
Man, I'm just
We're
trying
gonna
to say.
pass it over to you.
That's deep. I got one more.
that is.
It's amazing.
You say, hold on, your spinal cord stopped growing at the age of 4.
It says on average.
On
We gotta get the
average.
words right.
On average.
Because that means there are some exceptions to
want
average.
Some people have Some people
Yes.
still have some growing spines.
But I still don't know how to take that.
Me either.
trying to
That's the
figure out-
average rate.
I was
That's
shocked.
Are we above average or do we got short spinal cords? Everybody the same size, they got long legs.
Well, first of all,
I have seen people with short torsos, but with long legs. So
So then is it possible for somebody's growth to be stunted? Is it where the bitches come from? Big
You know
hips.
what? I don't know. I can read
that's a
that.
question about
What
bones.
did this turn into?
Well, hold on, wait a minute. Single one then.
You got
And then we're gonna get on back. So it says, okay. So Tulsa, Oklahoma was once the richest African American city in the U.S. until white people burned it to the, no offense taken, but she ain't from the South anyway. Well, what Tulsa is?
No offense.
Well, anyway, I mean, give
That's
it.
Midwest.
My bad. I'm Joester. So if you're uncoupled in this room, then you can't, cause this the hot seat.
Yeah.
Well, it's the real spill. It's what it is.
The real spill.
Come on, give us some facts.
We know that
Some
white
truth.
folks owned slaves before. Yes, they did. And we ain't in here cooning. I'm a Hebrew from the top to the bottom. And throwing gang signs up.
Don't.
All right, you gonna have.
But at the same time, I don't hide. That's what make me who I am, because I don't hide who I am.
Absolutely.
Plus, that's my friend.
I appreciate it.
And then she gave me a interview too. Oh yeah, we're gonna be on the Fortune 500 cover together one day.
Oh yeah, then the
Oh
logo.
man, we're gonna live
possibly.
back without T. Girl, I remember them years ago. I said, I know. I'm be like, man, look here, man. Well, go get us a plane ticket. Anyway,
Say the real spill broke us in.
But what?
so let me get finished my thing.
What's the fun
right,
fact?
Right, the fun fact. Because I was took over there, but I'm back over here. So anyway, until white people burned it to the ground in because they did too, to the ground in 1921, and raised by the financial success of the African American section of town dubbed Black Wall Street. Tulsa dropped firebombs with biplanes and then attacked the city on foot, massacring its residents and chasing down refugees. They burned hundreds of homes, businesses, hospitals, and churches. Those not killed fled as refugees and were arrested. Postcards of the events were a popular keepsake to commemorate. Running the Negro out of, they didn't say Negro though, but running the Negro out of Tulsa. It's maybe a little ER on the end. Well, some of them couldn't talk, some of them was country, probably had a little A on the back of it. The government didn't acknowledge the massacre until 1996. Black Wall Street never recovered. But guess what? It never recovered then. But it's finna recover because I'm finna be a part of it. But anyway, I bet you didn't know that.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
I did.
Yeah, you heard it. She didn't know that. Yeah.
And I bet you didn't know that.
All right, y'all. So we have 8 minutes left
Oh, well.
with the podcast. So what we're gonna do right now? Just a speed round. We're gonna test it out. Speed round just gives them a little bit more about the topic and also a little recap for the audience out there.
All right.
All right.
Who we starting with?
Me. So today we talked about role models. I do want to ask you this. You said you have figured out some ways or done some ways to, channel that anger or frustration or negative emotions. What is it that you do? What are some techniques that you have?
Yeah, so something that helps me is taking ownership and responsibility for what are my emotions and not to outsource me feeling safe to other people. I mean, no other people, just me. I am the one, if I'm feeling angry, for example, I feel angry. Not I feel you made me feel angry. That's not true. No one can make me feel anything. That's up to me. And just self-care, prioritizing that. I don't mean just the bougie stuff of going to the spa. I mean eating meals, drinking water, taking care of yourself, sleeping,
Yes.
I like
exercise, taking walks. These things those have helped me a lot, and I'm still learning, and I will always be learning. So, yeah.
That was
Very cool.
fresh.
Yeah.
That's
That's the only question that I had to ask because I heard you mention it earlier. You know, those negative emotions, people get so pent up and everything, and sometimes in the heat of the moment, you do some things that you maybe regret. So a lot of people don't try to find out outlets. And I took personal health this past semester, and they talked about outlets and doing things to just release those negative emotions that you're having. And hey, I got some more tips. So
Oh,
thank
good. Maybe I can get some from you too.
you.
I liked what you said. That's like really good.
Oh shoot, go ahead. You can go ahead and expound.
Okay, so real spill. We help in the community, and I think an individual healthy person can bring victory. Wholeness begets wholeness, right? So for me, what my takeaway is I really enjoyed what Stephanie just said. You know, no one can make me feel salty. like today's. No one can make me feel like I'm ready to get at you or beat you down. I have to take responsibility for my emotions and why they even get so worked up. I have, and for me, my takeaway, this has been really beneficial. Brought a lot of understanding. I love the bet you didn't know that, but I want to, even continue to work on my character, making sure that I have action behind my words, and that, what I'm perpetuating would be pleasing before the Father. I want to see my children's children be whole. Right. And I'm not saying flawless, but whole. I mean, stand on your own 2 feet, but hey, know how to reach out. Even a role model gets weak. Even a role model, needs a talk or two. Don't be afraid to.
Absolutely.
What did you say? Self-help? Or how did you
Self-care.
say? Self-care.
Mm-hmm. Taking care of yourself.
Care about yourself.
Totally agree. And you make a better person that way. Whole.
Yeah, that self-care. You can't love your neighbor as yourself if you don't care about yourself first.
Right.
Yeah.
About you.
That's
and of course, we're not saying to be conceited, love yourself in the wrong manner, but we're saying
right,
love yourself in the right manner, because you wouldn't hurt yourself.
Yes.
You wouldn't want yourself to get all the way down there, truly. So, yeah.
Good.
What about you?
What? As far as like what you mean?
Speed round. You can ask a question, talk about some last minute topics, or just even recap about what we discussed.
Oh, so I'm gonna do my recap, and that you had your cap, and we do our final cap with the music.
Okay.
All right. So I'll recap. I want to just recap that being a role model, we got to kind of bring our focus down a little bit to quit looking at the stars, stop chasing, the shiny lights, and start becoming accountable in our own communities, becoming accountable how we carry ourselves in our own home. Everywhere we go, be that role model. Especially if we say we're that light, be mindful of how we carry ourselves, and then remember to save yourself. Quit putting the focus on people, and then you'll be less emotional. Remember that you're gonna understand in judgment for yourself one day personally. You're not gonna stand in judgment for nobody else. You got to give an account of what you did, what you said, how you acted.
Very true.
So that kind of help you have a little more self-discipline. I think that fear promotes, bad behavior. I was afraid what somebody think how they feel, what they're gonna do. But if we walk in boldness and not walk in fear, we'll be better examples, because then we can say, instead of my heart telling me, I can tell my heart, no, I ain't gonna give in. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna make better decisions. And that's been a good role model, becoming accountable. Stop pointing a finger at somebody else. Just close your fist up, put your hand in your pocket, and become contrite in your heart, and begin to do better. That way, I think you'll be blessed.
Perfect. And that brings us to the end of this episode. So thank you, Ms. Stephanie Mitchell, for spilling with us today. We truly enjoyed having you. We hope that what we discussed. Ms. Stephanie Mitchell, everybody. Yeah. Of course, please check her out once again, StephanieMitchellMedia.com. She can hook you up by seeing some of her designs. They are real good.
So we can find you on what? Instagram?
All social media platforms.
All of them.
Facebook, Instagram.
YouTube,
TikTok. Get on there. You need to be on there.
Yes.
And she even said
videos of your services.
Yeah. And she even said Snapchat too.
I sent a whole beehive the other day. I took pictures of it.
Yeah.
We're gonna post it. And remember to go to our website where you're gonna see a wasp, a bed bug, or ant, or spider, or fly. You're gonna see something on there that you don't like. And I got the remember to to get it up off of you. Even them pesky mosquitoes. So hey, Pest King, we always here. We is the best. Oh, excuse me, my bad. This is the South. We can say we is, can't we? We is the best. But for y'all up north and everywhere else, we are the best. So, Pest King.
Yeah.
And also our other sponsor,
Strong Tower Occultic Care. Some of the best female products or feminine products. I love them. I put my money where my mouth is. I have actually tried it, and I do buy them in bulk. Look her up.
Look her up.
So you heard what they said. You heard what was said from Ms. Stephanie Mitchell to Pest King and to Strong Tower Occultic Care. And if you enjoyed this episode or the show as a whole, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification button too so you can know when we're kicking it. Until next time, Yahuwah willing, This was Isaiah B.
And the wisdom commentator.
KB, truly free indeed, and
Stephanie Mitchell.
Yeah.
And Rex over there with the freshness on.
Yeah.
Look at
Nice
that.
old cobalt blue
Fresh.
tie. So, don't forget to hold that cup out and catch the spill. Shalom, y'all. Have a good one.
Shalom.
shalom, shalom.